Hope all is well. Hopefully, you have listened to the playlists of all the poems that were done. And, basically, I want to give you a brief background on the poems and, why it was actually written. The purpose, of Love and Basketball, Memoirs of Life was basically to bring awareness to the issues, that are often overlooked or ignored in mainstream society. This book is really more than a memoir. The poems speak about the commonalities that are present within everyday life, especially in urban America, but, really applies to all of us. And, the first thing, that I'd really like to point out was the cover, what the meaning of the cover is. In essence, the red letters symbolize the blood that was shed from our ancestors who helped us get to this point in history, and for that of the martyrs that will lead us into the future. The 3 years that are highlighted in red are 1921, 1965, and 1968. These crucial points in American history are significant because they represent the struggle from segregation to integration while battling the various forms of Jim Crow laws and institutionalized racism. The yellow ball represents the truth being brought through the darkness with the goal of enlightening others and providing a forum for the voiceless members of our society. Now that's the whole point, of all of these videos, is really to bring enlightenment and to bring awareness, and also for some dialogue, in the future. You can really look forward to the Blog Talk radio show that I will be introducing very soon. You can call in. I'll come back on at another time and give you the information so you can call into the show. It's going to be very interesting. I actually have two co-hosts. We're going to talk about a variety of issues, really coming from a sociological perspective. The name of the talk show is going to be True Sports Talk. But if you know what, basketball and life are synonymous, so we're not going to just be talking about sports. I can tell you that. It's going to be a well-rounded show. But, back to some of the meanings of the poems. I read Dedication. That poem paid homage, to our ancestors and to the people who blazed the path of survival through the inhumane conditions of slavery and later on in life. That's one thing that we really have to learn how to do, is pay homage and look at the people who did it before us, the people who paved the way, who made it possible for you to even have a dream. I mean, there's no way that, we could have done some of the things that we're doing today without somebody else risking their life, in order for that to be accomplished. I mean, I think that gets lost, in a lot of the things that are, being done to divide, the people. We talk about racism, we talk about sexism, we talk about politics. I mean, at the end of the day, we all just human. And, being a human being comes with a huge responsibility. It's about uplifting, the next person. Now, granted, I'm realistic, in my portrayal of life. Will it be hard to help somebody who hates me? Probably so. But depending on the situation that we're in, it might not be that difficult. Sometimes we got to put things aside, for the greater goal. I say all that to say that, yes, it's been a very tumultuous time. We've been put into a situation where basically our backs are against the wall. And there have been some very tough decisions. We talk about the Michael Brown case, you talk about the Eric Garner case. I mean, these are things that just keep popping up over and over. I could go back to Yusef Hawkins, Sean Bell, Amadou Diallo. These are just cases in New York, in New York City, where, overzealousness, really led to, the murder of unarmed men, who were really just complying, with the officer request. They weren't, trying to be violent or anything like that. But, I say all that to say that, the division amongst the people is what's really causing the problems, in the world today. Because at the end of the day, this is a financial world. You have a bunch of wealthy people and you have an enormous amount of poor people. I don't know, maybe you've heard that there is really no middle class. There never really was. You have wealthy people, and then you have poor people, and then you have people in between who, within their own set of rules and guidelines and customs that they try to assimilate to, they convince themselves that they are better than the next person, that is basically behind them. And that leads me to the other poem that I did, Backdoor. Basically, this dealt with the vision of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had versus one that is being currently presented through reality TV. Other points of emphasis are gentrification, eminent domain, the injustices of stop and frisk, and the plight of immigrant workers who try to attain success in the underground subculture and eventually mainstream society. Now listen, I don't have anything against reality TV. I know you hear me talk about it a lot. But if you're gonna do a reality show, I really believe that it should be real. There's a lot of script going on, and but it could be scripted in a way where it doesn't portray us in a negative light. We can make 2 and 3 hours of footage, and that one piece of footage where this might have happened yesterday, and it'll be spliced up with something that happens next week, and it'll have me looking very out of character, and then you already signed away the rights to the editing, and then you want to know why you look a certain way. Well, you've been paid to look that way, so there's really no complaining about that. You come on after the season is over and you talk about, oh, I was edited to look that way. Well, that's what they do. That's done in every aspect of life. You can look at the newspapers. You can look at TV shows. As soon as if I turn the volume down and I see a black man on a television screen, the first thing that pops into my mind is that this person done committed a crime, and that's sad. That's sad to say, but this is the media imagery and the brainwashing that it's taken a long time to reverse that. I'm a person. I'm past 30. Let me put it like that. So when you look at things like that, you have to understand that that's the point that I'm trying to make. I am for capitalism. I understand that we all have bills to pay, and but there's gonna come a day where the amount of money that's offered to you it's gonna be irrelevant. You're gonna have to make a choice to do the right thing, whatever that is, for your family. That's just something to think about. And another poem that I read was Transition. This poem talked about the meaning and the change, and acknowledges why we struggle on a daily basis. And the topics include fast food, the sagging pants trend, school versus education, and moving from a working mentality to an entrepreneurial train of thought, and the steps that are required to reach that goal. Now, I can tell you right now that the amount of information that it's going to take to teach that, the steps to move forward, it will take a while, but it's worth the journey. I'm one of the people who will pass on positive information, things that you actually can use. There are a few of us that's actually out there that's trying to enlighten the masses and keep people aware of what's going on. But the main topic for me right now, in reference to the book and the radio show that will follow, is school versus education. Two totally different things, and I want people to be aware of that. And then we got into Rewind, which was a poem of retrospect. That focused on people taking a look inside themselves and being appreciative of what they have attained. This poem also touches on the fact that anyone, regardless of prior income or education levels, can end up homeless and feel no protection from the ills of society. It looks back on bigotry, discrimination, and what we have had to endure to pursue greatness. Well, here, in 2014, I could tell you right now, bigotry and discrimination and prejudice, that is definitely a personal thing. That's something that can be controlled by each individual. That's our own hang-ups, things that, we carry baggage, within ourselves. Racism is a whole nother level. Racism, it's institutional. I'm not talking about, hey, I'm brown skinned, you light skinned, I look better than you, or anything like that. Or, a white person, calling me the N-word. It's really not about that. Institutional racism is a little deeper than that. It's collectively, people getting together in cohesion and making laws that, prohibit a specific group of people from advancing. Right now, it is us, it is people of color. But it could be towards any group of people. And it's just an amendment, they can all get together again. When I say they, I'm talking about families of the people who continuously, make it through politics. The Bushes, the Kennedys, and, things like that. Clintons, these are the people that are consistently have bloodlines that, make it into politics. And, friends of a feather flock together. I mean, that's what you do. You want to preserve the wealth that is in, your family and in your bloodline. So if you have the means and the power to change laws, then that's what we'll do. If I have to meet you in a coffee shop to, give you a few extra dollars for you to talk to this person about changing the law, then that's what's being done. I mean, but people would look at that and say, oh, that's a conspiracy. Conspiracies are facts. It's just that the word is so huge and so loaded that many of us try not to think of it in that realm, but it is what it is. They have conspiracy charges in dealing with the law. So why can't it be conspiracy charges or things of that nature in terms of mind frame when you're talking about what the government is capable of, or anybody who works for the government? Senate, Congress, it doesn't matter. Like, you pass laws because you want to have, basically you want to have order. In order to live the life that you live as a wealthy person, there is a bunch of people who are actually very poor and who will never make it out of that cycle. If you have 10 poor people, maybe 1 or 2 will attain some type of material wealth. And that's the struggle that, that we deal with every day. And, nobody is above that. But, I said all that to say that that was the meaning, behind doing the book. It is the meaning of creating dialogue. Hopefully you subscribe, on the YouTube channel. You check out the website, www.10gpublishing.com. You can go to my YouTube page, Corey Grooms, subscribe. I'm going to post a variety of things, variety of videos. Eventually there will be some workshops, geared towards the younger generation and providing alternatives. 'Cause that's one thing that, we have to do. We can't keep telling the young guys, oh, you need to do this and you need to do that, and we don't tell them how to do it. Like, it just makes no sense. We sound condescending, when we do that. So when I say somebody as myself, that's above 40, I said I was above 30 before, but I'm above 40, and in order to reach, the guys that's, younger than me, or anybody that has played for me, because obviously I coach basketball. That's the whole reason behind the titles in the book, basically are metaphors, for various aspects of a game. Your life is not a game, but people will play games with your life if you don't wisen up. So until we meet again, until I see you again, stay positive, stay blessed.